Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining us for another episode, wherever you listen to your podcast. But this is the Retro Gamers Podcast. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
Episode 89 as we barrel towards 100.
Ah, yes, we are getting there. Just 1 week at a time.
Yeah, well, literally, yes.
Yes.
And for now, Anthony is still in the U.S. as you're gearing up for another trip.
Yes. Well, but when this episode drops, I will actually be in Japan.
That is true. Yes, I always forget that space-time continuum issue.
Yeah, you really got to figure that out.
Yeah, so you're, it's funny, we talked actually right after last week's episode ended, and you told me, like, you gotta, email me your list, let me know what you want, and I'm like, I need to take a break this time around, I need to slow down.
Well, I think we can blame Game On for that.
And so proudly. So this week, thankfully for yourself, you don't have to worry about bringing back too much stuff, if you even hit Super Potato this time around.
Oh, no, I'm going to Super Potato.
There's no question about it.
How dare you suggest that I won't?
I apologize.
It's the official games, game store of the retro gamers in Japan. They just don't know it.
I don't think any of the stores know it.
No, yeah, I'm sure Game On knows it.
Well, they probably do. Yeah, my credit card knows it.
I was just going to say Visa or MasterCard may know it at this point.
Amex, my friend, all the way.
All right, well, maybe, Amex is going to call you up and be like, I'm sorry, sir, do you own this store?
I think it's more like, I'm sorry, sir, do you get out? Do you have a girlfriend? And the answer to both those questions are emphatically no.
Can be found on the better half.
Yeah, true. Do you have a list going? Is there something? Because last time you went, it was the disc drive, the Famicom disc drive.
Yes, which I succeeded in securing, which I'm very happy with. But no, I do not have. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to put together a list. So when I go there, it'll be kind of randomly searching, which never ends well for me because I don't know what I wind up picking up.
Literally, you don't know what you're picking up.
No, I'm literally picking up games that have labels, and I'm like, okay, well, let's see. But what I do find works really well over there is the power of photographs. So when I went last time, basically you gave me a list of games that I did, and there were a bunch I didn't pick up for you because they were so expensive.
Yeah.
But basically I was like standing there showing him my phone and each image, and then I basically followed him around the store, and then he would point at the game, and then I would just be like, yes or no. So
I thought you went around with the phone when you said with pictures. I didn't realize you dragged one of the employees with you.
No. One of the employees, he was super helpful. He he walked around the whole store and pointed, and then when I saw the price on the game and I would shake my head no, he would laugh.
No American dollars for you.
It's like, no, I do not want to spend $450 on a shooter game. I should have picked it up for you, but I didn't. So I'm probably going to do that, and I'll have time in my hotel room to peruse some game catalogs and pick out some stuff that I want to grab.
Do they actually have catalogs?
No, I just might go online.
Oh, okay.
It's not like Sears.
Remember that?
Yeah, I used to love Sears catalogs.
Man.
That's where I used to pick out my video games for Christmas.
I was just going to say the Christmas catalog. Yep.
Yeah, the Christmas catalog had all the video games that I wanted, and I would point to 50 of them and get 5.
Yeah, 5? Lucky dog.
Well, no, I don't know. More, maybe 3. Maybe. But yeah, so we'll see what happens this trip in Japan. We'll see what I come back with. Plus, I also have to check. I want to see if I can track down there was that one other store I found that sold. I forgot the name of it. I think it was called Book Off. And it was in the.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, I randomly went there because I'm like, they're one of those stores that sells new and used stuff.
Yeah.
And they had floors of stuff. Like their DVD floor was massive. Like I couldn't figure out. It was like a department store size place.
Okay.
But on the first floor they had video games there. It was actually where I found a mini Famicom for Charlie.
Oh, that's why you didn't find it in Super Potato?
No, I didn't. I found it in this
Oh.
place called Book Off. It was just random, and then they had, they had video games. They had a lot of more like recent system stuff that they were selling used, but then they had like a wall which just had like these little drawers of retro games.
Oh,
so
cool.
I just randomly bought some. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find that place again, because that was a cute little surprise. I was like, I gotta go back there one day.
Cool.
So yes, another Japan trip for me.
Another one under the belt.
Well, I need to spend some money, Larry, so we can at least make this contest look a little bit competitive.
Honestly, that's why I'm taking a break from Japan, and why I took a break, which I'll talk about in a little while, from yesterday, because I did hit Game On, because they just fantastic, but also because like a week or two before, I purchased a whole bunch of stuff, so my number had already gone up after last week's episode.
Right, and my last purchase was my last retro game purchase was my trip to Japan in early March. so it's been a couple months almost.
I'm taking a commanding lead. Fantastic.
Yes, you are, but don't worry, I catch up fast because I still have my eye on the I want a TurboGrafx 16.
Oh, me too. Yes, but it's funny because I see the systems, but it's hard for me to find the games.
Right.
So that's a little
eBay.
difficult. Yeah, I know, but it's just I bought Shining Force 3 on eBay, which I'm happy with.
Shining Force CD.
Yes. Oh, I wish it was Shining Force 3.
Right.
Shining Force CD, excuse me, on eBay, and when I purchased it, like I just. Even now, because I still don't know technically if it's going to work or not, but I really more bought it because I don't have a Sega CD. I more bought
send
it
it
just
to
for
me. I'll play it.
I'll never get it back.
That's true.
So I get a little weary with it from eBay, but if I come across something, I come across something. The weather is starting to get quote unquote better out here in New York, so some of the flea markets as well are going to start opening up again. Which usually is a hot spot for finding a game every now and again that some poor soul is selling way below listed price.
Which is good. You should always do that.
No, absolutely. And also, last night as well, I got to admit, I got the itch, as much as I said a few weeks ago on this podcast, that as much as I'd love to collect the systems, I really with a new television, how to really hook it up to the new TV, and I have the clone systems, and the clone systems are coming out. Even Polymega, which you talked about probably a year and a half ago, they're kind of starting to post again about their system, which is basically clone CD systems that will play like Sega CD and PS1 and stuff like that. But now I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can hook up classic systems to the television, and maybe I should start buying some of the old stuff. So I'm going to be screwed royally.
Yes, Larry, spend money.
Royally. Does Super...
lots and lots of money this year.
I don't know if I asked this once before. Does Super... Because obviously, and we know, we hear the people, we hear the fans, and we are self-aware of it as well. We talk about it all the time. We are Nintendo heavy. We get it. We grew up with Nintendo. That's what we majority know and love. I mean, no offense to Genesis or any of the other ones, except CDI can go kick rocks. But does Super Potato have Genesis and stuff? Because I never see any like Sega games.
Oh yeah, no. They have the Mega Drive. They have the original Master System. They have all that stuff.
So they do sell those games as well.
Yeah, no, they sell those games. It's just they have Sega Saturn and all that stuff. It's just when I'm going shopping for you, it's Nintendo heavy.
No,
the same thing with and to be honest, the same thing with me, because I only bought so far a Famicom and a Super Famicom. I haven't purchased any of the Japanese Sega systems.
Yeah.
So at this point, I haven't really been looking that way. Now, it is entirely possible to play. Now, especially now that I have a Sega Saturn, I can play Sega Saturn games. There's a way to do it. The same way you can play like Sony PlayStation Japanese imports.
You gotta trick it. Yeah,
there's like a trick where you can do that on the Dreamcast and the Saturn.
Okay.
So I will start Saturn shopping soon.
Saturn shopping. That's a system I've never played. That's probably one of the few big ones. I mean, I know it got a bum rap here in the U.S., but
Right.
I'm dying to get my hands on a Saturn.
Well, it's funny. It's one of the few I never played either growing up, and my cousin Michael was kind enough to give me his because he had it languishing in an attic somewhere. And I've had it hooked up, since December, and I've yet to turn it on.
I feel like sometimes that's a recurring theme for a lot of people. You got everything. It's kind of like you want. Then once you get, I got it. It's not going anywhere. I'll get to it when I get to it.
Right, but my when I start streaming more regularly, which is coming soon because I have a new setup for streaming that I'm going to do for game streaming. So I got one of those DVD capture devices for my computer called the Dazzle DVD recorder, but it's an AV hookup. It's an AV input, so you can you can basically plug anything with an AV cable into your computer and record. So now, because up until now, like I've been doing most of my streaming using emulators.
Yep.
Now what I'm gonna be able to do is I'm gonna be able to actually hook the system up into the Dazzle recorder and into my computer and then stream from the actual console.
Yeah, I think that's big time.
Yeah, which is going to be awesome. The only issue I had with it was I'm still trying to play around with it. For some reason, I couldn't get sound on my end, but the sound came out on the video. So in other words, if I streamed it, you got the sound.
Okay.
But when I was playing the game,
I
had no sound. So
you
I'm
need
like,
to get like a splitter or something, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking into. I actually have a splitter on the way. I actually have a splitter on the way so that I could stream it on the computer and still play it on my television.
That's a better, because that I would recommend. I've like, it was with the Elgato, I can plug it into my iMac and then I can play off my Mac, but there's like that ever so slight delay that just throws you off. Kind of the same reason why you have to set these new televisions to game mode, because when you try and play an old game, the refresh rate, that's why it's like it feels like half a second off, which is why for years I couldn't play the original Super Mario Brothers or any NES game before I discovered this game option on the televisions. Once I flipped that over, it was a whole new ball game.
Oh, see, I never had an issue when I was a kid.
No, not as a kid. Just with newer televisions.
Now. Okay.
Yeah, probably when flat screens really started to become a thing and when HDMI started becoming a thing. Really, that's what it was, when HDMI.
Yeah, when HDMI came out, all of a sudden it's like all our old games had lag.
But what was funny is it was even doing it on like the virtual console games,
which is weird.
Yeah, very weird. So, but
that's
it all worked.
Weird.
All worked out in the end. Speaking of streaming, though, we've had a couple good streams this week, a couple good live streams, and you did Mike Tyson's Punch Out, which was really cool.
I did.
Altered Beast.
And I did Altered Beast, and I'm slowly learning that as I'm getting older. Before you get to yours, I slowly learned as I'm getting older that I can't beat the games I used to. I'm not comfortable with this.
Which I'm the opposite. As I'm getting older, I'm finally starting to get better at these games that I was never able to do good in.
Yeah, no, I know. So I don't like this role reversal that's going on here. Just not cool.
I'm going to. Yeah, I like it. I'm going to embark on it.
Yeah, well, you do that, and I still beat more games than you. That's all.
This is true. Everyone has. And last night, what happened is, went here at Game On. They did a wonderful little charity event, I'll call it. What happened was it was after the store normally closes. They stayed open. People were able to come in. Donation, which went to a wonderful autism cause that they do. They run charities for, or not charities, donations for. And just pretty much the night was you come in, which you can normally do anyway. You come in and you can play and you can try out any game that's in the store. Like even some of the ones, like some of the big time ones, as long as it's not like factory sealed. So you can try anything. It's pretty cool. They're really good. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So just people came in and the idea was just beat as many NES games as possible, just as a collective group. I think we got to, and I'm not going to remember all of them, I think we did, of the 4 hours or so that we were there, 3 hours, we beat 9 games in total.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and some of it I did stream.
Wait. Did you beat any of them?
I beat 1.
Okay.
And it was already a game I've already beaten, but we counted it.
Contra?
Exactly. But I beat the Japanese version because I wanted to show everyone the awesome graphics on the Famicom versus the one that we
Oh,
did.
yeah, Grisor. Yeah, because they're actual, like, cutscenes.
I called them cutscenes. Yes, I got called out on it. Maybe not exact cutscenes. But there's definitely just booting it up. The opening sequence is more than what we got. Mm-hmm. But it was on the list, so we counted it. Contra was 1. I still think it should count as 2 because it was an import, but no one listens to me.
No, it doesn't count as 2.
But like they seeked to beat, like, Little Mermaid was beaten. Someone was working on Barbie to beat Barbie.
Barbie?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
We let's see what else was beaten. Taboo. Remember the game Taboo?
Yeah, I remember that.
That was beaten. Where's Waldo? was beaten on the end. They were all NES games. Mm-hmm. Someone beat Felix the Cat.
Oh my god,
that was a fun one. And what's fun is there was a couple guys there, kind of, just came in, saw the the advertisement, came in, walked in, beat the game. It's like, all right, game beaten, left. We're like, who was that guy? No one knows.
Wow.
So just coming in, just having a good time.
That's awesome.
Some games that were there was another game which we kind of just learned about. I think it was called Dragon Spirit. What happens is, my fondness of vertical shooters and shoot 'em ups and everything. Game On, the guys there are always kind of like, hey, we found this shoot 'em up. Are you interested in it? Or we discovered this new one. So there was this game called Dragon Spirit, in which you're a dragon, and it's a vertical shooter.
Are you the dragon or the dragon spirit?
You're the I guess it's one.
Are you Bruce Lee?
Oh no, that'd be cool. No, you're a dragon.
Awesome.
You're an actual mythical dragon.
Okay.
That game was beaten, and then there was a lot of attempts. There was an attempt to beat Kung Fu, which that game just got all of us, got the best of us all.
Wait a minute. I didn't know Kung Fu could be beaten. I thought it just kept going until you died.
5 levels.
Yeah, but once you get past the 5, it starts over.
Yeah, but still, you're completing those like the main story.
Like that. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I've beaten in that sense, I've beaten Kung Fu. I've played through the 5 levels. Yeah. But then it just restarts, and then you
just got harder
until you run out of lives. Yeah.
Yeah, but
nobody could beat it.
No, we just for some reason just couldn't. It was giving us trouble. Couldn't quite do it because everyone was kind of passing off the games. Like, we kind of like get halfway through and then got to tag out or something like that. Mostly because some people were still buying stuff in the store.
Okay.
So and like for me, what happened? So they got through working on Super Mario Brothers 2. Again, I'm not saying these are games beaten for the first time, just for the sake of beating them. You know what I mean? Just having a blast. Someone was working on Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and again, Tyson was just giving him a hard time.
No, at least he got to Tyson.
Actually, I don't know if he beat it last night. Well, anyway,
I was very upset. The other day. I got to the second bald bull, and he kept charging over me.
Yeah, he's tough. I don't know if the camera trick works the second time around.
I'm really not sure. I got to look at it. I got to look at it again and give it another shot. Time, but yeah. I was very angry. I know, like, I used to always, when I would lose, it would either be to Super Macho Man or Tyson.
Okay.
I never had a problem getting past Bald Bull. Now I'm going backwards. This is the part I don't like.
So we were playing Super Mario Brothers 2. We get to someone gets to level 6 and then tags off. So tags it to me. So of course, I got the reverse Midas touch. Everything I touch turns to garbage. So I'm like, yeah, I could beat this in a heartbeat. Forget about it. I had such trouble playing Super Mario Brothers 2 last night. It was terrible.
Yeah, I know. I saw some of the live stream comments.
Oh, I couldn't. I'm like, what am I doing? And then I'm sitting there, and then then that's when it starts to dawn on me. I'm like, why am I trying to rush through it? I got to play smarter, not harder. And when I sit back, sometimes then I'll do it better. But by the time I got to Wart, and by the time I was already out of my continues, that's how bad I was doing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was terrible, and I ended up losing it. Didn't get it. Everyone was disappointed, which nothing new for me, so that's good to go. But when I got home, I was so frustrated. You know, the store's an hour away from me.
Yeah, I know. You drive really far for that.
I do. Listen, well worth it. But it's an hour away from me. So the entire drive home, I'm like, I gotta beat this tonight. Like, why am I not beating Super Mario Brothers 2? So that's when I got home, threw up the camera real quick. So I kind of, I guerrilla streamed it. And the only physical copy I have of Super Mario Brothers 2, because to hook up anything else to try and play was just too much.
Right.
Played Super Mario USA, which you got me from Super Potato, which is Super Mario Brothers 2.
Correct.
So I popped that in, and then I beat it last night. And finally, when I beat it, I'm like, F this. I'm done. I feel accomplished. I think I even messaged like the store and stuff. I'm like, game 10 beaten tonight. Oh, I was so mad.
Oh, well, you poor thing. You made up for it.
I did, but I was livid. But it was a good time. I'm trying to think some of the other games that some people were playing. So some people playing Sonic, some Genesis, a handful of Genesis games. So it was cool. Good stuff last night. And
good.
Yeah, sometimes that just happens. Sometimes a game you just repeatedly beat over and over and over again.
Yep.
Once in a while, it just gives you a hard time.
Well, the next time the next time Game On has one of those nights of let's see how many games we can beat type of thing, set me up on Skype. I can do the West Coast feed.
Oh, that'd be cool. Oh, yeah. I got you. All right. We'll definitely see what's going on.
Yeah,
I'll have to hook into their Wi-Fi. All right, cool.
Yeah, exactly. Then you get their Wi-Fi.
So speaking,
that's what the plan is.
Honestly. So we're going to jump into a nice fun segment. I think I like to call, why Larry's going to lose this contest in 2018.
Okay. And just a quick reminder for everybody who do not
listeners,
know.
New listeners.
Yes, new listeners. Larry and I are in the middle of a contest for 2018. For those of you who don't know, Larry loves the Virtual Boy. I don't. But we'll keep it that simple.
That is legit, people. That is legit.
Yeah, he has legit love for it. I have legit disdain.
The day I brought it to his house when I first got it, and 20-something years ago now? At this point?
20-something years ago, you brought it to my house. I played it for 30 seconds and declared this is the worst thing I've ever played in my life. I
remember walking in with the box. I'm like, Aunt, check this out. I threw it on your kitchen table. I unpacked it. It took me a while to unpack it. And I'm like, play it. He went right, literally. He's like, no. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. It was terrible. Oh. Absolutely terrible. Anyway, so Larry and I are in the middle of a contest, compliments of Josh from Victims and Villains. In 2018, because Larry has been trying to get his hands on a Virtual Boy for a very long time, and I told him that he will never get his hands on one. We decided to make a little wager that whoever spends the most money this year purchasing retro video games, they have to buy the other person a Virtual Boy.
Yes.
So that contest has been going on for almost 4 months now. Larry has been spending money like crazy, and I have not. But so it looks like I have this in the bag now. Don't get me wrong. I've got like 3 more trips to Japan, so it's quite possible I catch up to you. But I've already gone on record in saying that if I should win said Virtual Boy, I will be destroying it on live stream on the Retro Gamers podcast page.
And this is why I got to take a break from Japan. I got to take a break from Game On for a little bit because I need him to. I can't. I need a Virtual Boy. I have games for the Virtual Boy. I need to use them.
Yeah, but Larry, I thought I was going to pick you up the Retro Freak this time around. Remember the Retro Freak that we talked about a couple weeks ago?
Oh yeah, but it doesn't play Virtual Boy.
No, but it plays 11 other systems.
But not the Virtual Boy. I don't get it.
No, in other words, just for your gaming experience.
Oh,
it also plays the games in 1080p,
and it plays TurboGrafx.
And it plays TurboGrafx.
Yeah,
yes, among other things. Everything but NES.
Yeah, I know, right? It plays Famicom.
No, well, it's a Japanese system.
Is there a converter for them to play American games?
I'm assuming there must be, or because Sega Genesis and Super NES are part of this system. So
Yeah, but a Super NES and a Super Famicom were one and the same anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't have an answer for that. I would assume yes. Super Potato does sell American games. They don't have a lot, but they do sell some.
So so in this part, we kind of like to talk about some of the stuff we've picked up, and I think since the last time we recorded, I didn't mention this haul that I picked up. So I just want to I'm just going to step away for a second because I do have to grab one more game I just want to show you. So if you want to vamp, go right ahead.
Oh, I have no problem vamping. So for everybody out there, I'm really trying to get the hashtag VB movement going. For those of you who don't know what that stands for, it's Virtual Boy Sucks, VBSUX. So if you ever listen to our podcast or if you're ever on our Facebook page, I would love it if you would respond in any of your responses you give during streaming or anything like that, hashtag VB Sucks. That way, Larry will know that you are on my side and not on his, and it'll make the world a better place.
I kind of hear you talking, but I don't know what you're saying.
No, Larry has no idea what I'm saying right now, which is why I'm pointing it out. So hashtag VB Sucks. Okay, we also have merchandise that says that, but we'll talk about that at the end of our show.
I'm back.
Oh, and Larry's back. Welcome back.
All right, so
you don't listen back to these shows, right?
I edit them. Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes
don't edit out what I just said.
Sometimes I'll skip through. So
skip through this one, please.
All right, so I'll put pictures up of these later in the week. I know sometimes I say that I don't post. Life gets in the way. Okay, so
life finds a way.
That new trailer looks great.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, looks good. Okay, in no particular order, I picked this game up, which actually, funny enough, because it reminds me of Tetris on the Virtual Boy. It's a game called Blockout on Genesis.
Oh yeah, I played that before.
And it's kind of like a 3D Tetris where they're going away from the screen. It's really cool. I never heard.
Yeah, it's a good game.
I'll save that one for a moment. I will definitely save that one. Picked up actually again more kind of a conscious effort, not only because of everyone saying, "Oh, you're old Nintendo," but I wanted to purposely maybe try and buy more Genesis games, but also just for the sake these are good games. So I picked up 4 in the box. So I do have the boxes for these. So one is Hard Driving.
Nice, I remember that one.
That was a good one.
Good racing game.
This one, and I know sometimes they may be clunkers, but sometimes. And I dropped. Ooh, well, okay, we'll edit that.
Language.
RoboCop versus
Terminator. This is the yin and the yang.
Or the better half. RoboCop versus Terminator.
Nice game.
So that's fun.
Weird game.
Yeah. Here's one that when I texted you about it, I'm like, what did we used to play? When we were younger, I don't know what started it, but we played a golf game on Genesis. And
that is right.
We being our group, not just me and you, but like all of us.
All of us. We used to all compete in this one golf game.
And it was PGA Tour Golf 3.
Yeah.
So
I had that game on the Sega Genesis and on my PC.
Really?
And I had that on my PC.
Nice.
Which reminds me, we gotta talk a little PC gaming. I know neither of us do a lot of it. I'm like, but I have quite a few retro PC games that I still have in my Yeah.
See, that's the other issue too, because we talk about what we played a lot. Yeah, I'm not a fan of PC. I'm not saying it's bad, just I'm not a fan of it. And also I picked up, I think you may like this one, because I actually played it a little bit before I bought it and I liked it. Bram Stoker's Dracula for Genesis.
Oh, I never played that.
It actually it plays good. It's a fun game.
I remember I owned the Sega CD version. Actually, I want to say that I own it now.
I don't know if it's the like a port.
It's not. I don't think it's the same.
Yeah. Now, of course, I did have to buy an NES game. Oh, I bought on Game Boy, Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle.
Oh, okay. That game was actually fun.
A very fun game. Yeah. On NES, Tiny Toon Adventures.
Oh, very nice. They're tiny, they're toony,
and they're all a little loony. And then here are the bigger ones. I bought, again, this is more for nostalgic purposes, Sonic CD in the case.
Sonic CD is a great game.
In the case, very good.
Yeah, for anybody out there who never played the Sega CD but are fans of Sonic, Sonic CD is arguably one of the best Sonic games to come out.
And I think it's available virtually everywhere. So
Yes.
one of the main reasons why I went that day to Game On to pick up these, I guess we can call them homebrews, and they're actually made by, or distributed, I should say, as well. You can find these online, so they're really nothing like super secretive, but they're still cool. On the Atari 7800, and unfortunately because of Josh's rules, I guess these count. On the Atari 7800, I have Pac-Man Collection.
Right. So these are I love the fact that you can pick up homebrews. It's just really cool.
And this game, I was looking at the instructions because we didn't have a 7800 set up at the time, so we couldn't play this one. But it's got Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man. It's got Puck-Man, which our friend Verdi would like because he owns
Puck-Man.
one. Yep. It owns Pluckman, if I remember correctly, which I don't know I don't know what version that is. And I think I don't think Super Pac-Man, but some other version of Pac-Man.
Very cool.
And then, which I thought was really cool, and this I did play on the Atari 2600, Pac-Man 4K. Now, don't let
now, how did that look?
Yeah, don't let the 4K fool you. It looks much better than the original Pac-Man on the Atari 2600. Really, just putting a hammer to the television screen will make that game look better than it normally does.
Very true.
But this one it was funny. It looked clear. The board looked a lot better. Granted, it was still like the lines. It was still the same sound, but it was just more presentable to the eye, even though Pac-Man and the Ghosts were still like violently blinking as they did on the original game. Which I think
that's how it should.
Yeah, they left in. But the game ran very smoothly. It was very good.
Awesome.
And then I saw this, and I'm like, I have to have it, really for no other reason than I'm just such a fan of this. It is a ROM of from what I understand, I don't have the whole story, so forgive me, of an unreleased game from Capcom called The California Raisins, The Grape Escape.
Oh, my.
Now, I love the California Raisins.
Now, in terms of the California Raisins, did you love eating them, or did you love the actual weird characters?
Oh, the stop motion animation. I loved the commercials, and I remember my dad had, which I don't have the physical. I may still have the physical CD. We actually had the California Raisins album.
Oh my!
No, but they did covers, but they were like really good. Obviously, they did "Heard You Through the Grapevine." They did.
Stop, please.
What are you talking? It's good songs. Papa Ooh Mau Mau. And a lot of these songs I also discovered through the Raisins first.
I think I'm leaving the retro gamers.
Well, hey, look, Gladys Knight did an awesome version of "Heard It Through the Grapevine," but you don't really feel it until you hear from the California Raisins. And
I'm just feeling it from this conversation, and it's more than enough. Thank you.
If you like the California Raisins, please let us know on the Facebook page, because they had one Christmas special, and that was it. It was stop motion animation.
There's a reason why they only had one Christmas special.
Claymation. Oh, I love them. Yeah. Anyway, gorgeous box.
It looks like it's in great condition.
It really, really is. The cartridge inside looked really good. We even played it for a minute. Popped it in the system, played it for a minute. The game is absolutely terrible, but it was just fun to have. So this is more a dual kind of retro game, and then just a fan of this particular fruit. I guess.
Well, very nice, and I couldn't be prouder to wish to know you.
Love it. So that's what that is. Of course, totals, dollar amounts will not be revealed until the end of the year, the fiscal year.
Yeah, are you keeping a spreadsheet?
No, I'm just going to, at the end of the year, I'm just going to pull up my credit card, search Game On, and just add everything up.
Okay. I was going to say, just put receipts in a box.
I also got, I forgot this part. Hold on.
Oh, Larry's stepping away again, and while he does step away, let me remind you one more time, #VB sucks. Everybody.
I don't care what Josh says. I'm not counting these. I think I talked over you. I'm sorry.
No, that's perfectly fine.
I picked up. They have these little things that are normally available at the Nintendo store in the city. Have you been to the Nintendo store in the city?
No, I haven't. But next trip we're gonna make an excursion.
So they have these little figures. They're like 8-bit figures. They have for Mario, Donkey Kong, stuff like that. So I got this cool one here. It's an 8-bit Star Mario. I don't know if it's gonna come through here properly, but if you hit the light,
I know exactly what those are because somebody that I know is the one who worked on those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he worked on the whole Nintendo. He worked on the whole Nintendo line. Most of the stuff that's coming out now.
Oh, cool.
Ish. So, yes.
So I got like the.
So yeah, he has all of those at work.
Which, if you hit it at the light, it shines. And then this one I love. I love this one. 8-bit classic Mario, but it's black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
they really are.
Those are really cool.
I actually have to ask him if he has extras because I want them.
It's the exclusives. There was like an 8-bit Red Link. I think I have the Red Link.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So those were bought at different days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what I picked up. I tried playing the golf game. I don't know how I sat through it back then because it really annoyed me.
No. I thought it was a lot of fun.
No, it's just I forgot how to play it.
Well, you'll learn again.
And Tiny Toon Adventures, I was playing that for a while.
Cool.
I got to try RoboCop.
Well, it sounds like it was an overall it sounded like Game On was a great Friday night of just a bunch of video gaming, and 9 games beaten is nothing to
10
to laugh at.
10 when I got home.
9 games.
10.
No, you did not beat it at the store, so it doesn't
but
count.
I beat it before I went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this quick question, and then we'll start to head forward here. When I was playing Super Mario Brothers 2, we only used Princess Peach.
Okay.
Which normally is not my go-to. Who's your go-to in Super Mario Brothers 2?
My go-to, actually, I think my go-to might have been her because she could float.
Yeah.
But if I had to, I always just, depending on the level, it would either be her or Toad.
Toad.
Because
me was always Toad.
Yeah, it was always Toad because Toad could pick stuff up really fast.
It was strong, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know why they decided. Well, I mean, granted, it wasn't originally a Mario game, but the fact of all the characters, like, what should we do with Toad? Oh, we'll make him the super strong one. What?
I guess it was the only option. You have someone who's just balanced, which is Mario. Someone who can jump high, Luigi. You had the floating capability of Princess. Kind of like what other ability?
Well, see, I would have switched it. Like, because Toad is small, I would think he's maybe a little more spry. So I would have had Toad jump higher and Luigi be the stronger one.
You know why I think they did it with Luigi? Because Luigi, correct me if I'm wrong, I think in Lost Levels, doesn't Luigi jump higher as well?
I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, I gotta double check that.
Not 100% sure.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be caught in a lie on our show.
We would never listen. We've never professed that we know it all. So remember that, folks.
I know, but I like to think I do. So,
wow, understatement of the year, people. Nah, I'm kidding.
Hey,
I'm joking. All right, so let us know some games. Hey, listen, next time that there is one of these things, let us know what game you want to see beaten on the NES. And you know what? By golly, I will do my best.
All right, Larry, it's time for another retro birthday.
Ooh, right.
And this one's definitely a special birthday because I don't think either of us know anything about this system, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
But today's retro birthday that we're celebrating is for a game that most people will know. It's called Battleship.
Oh, really?
Yep. And the game itself is kind of like the Battleship board game, but made in a video game form. However, this version of Battleship is celebrating its 44th birthday.
44th?
It was released April 26th, 1974 on the Wang 2200.
Ah,
Why
okay.
are you laughing?
Multiple reasons, mostly because of another show on this network. But
yes,
wow,
the Wang 2200. The Wang 2200 was Wang Laboratories' first mini computer that can perform data processing. It was released in May of 1973.
That has 70s written all over it.
It was released May of 1973 for a very inexpensive $7,400.
Wow.
Now, if you were to compare that, if you were to, if you take in inflation and whatnot, that is a computer that would run you $40,000 today.
Good Lord, look at this hunk of junk.
Yeah. And my favorite is the ad for the Wang 2200 that was in magazines.
I've seen ads like that. Oh, wait, never mind.
And it says, what would you do with a statistics and number crunching computer that starts at 7,400, has 16K hardwired basic language and 28 major peripherals? Plenty.
I know Texas Instrument calculators that do more than that.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but anyway, like I just thought it would be interesting to celebrate a retro birthday on something that's completely obscure. Battleship for the Wang 2200. Happy 44th birthday.
As usual, I always forget to mention something I wanted to mention in the first segment. When I bought, again, this was trips ago. I bought a game for the Atari 2600 called Title Match Pro Wrestling. Again, everything is all bought a game on. So, mostly because I didn't even know there was a wrestling game on the Atari 2600. So I saw it. I'm like, that's pretty sweet. I just picked up just to own. So when we broke out the Atari to try out Pac-Man 4K, there was another copy of Pro Wrestling. So I'm like, all right, I got to play it. When am I ever going to own a 2600?
Correct.
Until Hyperkin puts out their Hyperkin 77. So I put the game in. Very basic. I have no idea how to play it, of course. With only a controller with one button, how do you play a wrestling game? Be that as it may, there's 4 characters in the game. Now, 3 of them, I don't remember their names, but there is one name that I will never forget, and I am not joking about this, folks. This is the actual name of the character. You can play as Skinhead.
You can play as Skinhead.
Skinhead in Title Match Pro Wrestling on the Atari 2600. It is not a homebrew. It is an original game from the 80s.
Wow.
And yeah, that was interesting to click on when I hit the select player.
Wow. I have no words for that one.
I get it. Signs of the time, and it really only, no, it was innocent back then.
Yes.
Funny now. So, all right. So that's what that is. But I think it's time, let's talk about some news, shall we?
Yeah, I think it's time we do cover some retro news because there's been quite a few things coming out over the last couple weeks because you weren't on last week's show, or was it 2 weeks ago? Already?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago you weren't on that show, but we haven't done enough retro news. One of the first things, and I brought this up a little while ago, and I didn't mention it when we were talking about Japan, but there's a little pocket system, little retro console called the Retro Freak that I'm going to be looking for when I go to Japan. That plays 11 different systems.
Yes, we talked about that last week, I think, very briefly.
Yeah, we talked about it last week, so I'm definitely going to, or it could have been 3 weeks ago, I don't know. It's been a while, but I will be looking for that. It plays 11 different systems, which includes Famicom, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, PC Engine, Sega Genesis, Sega Mega Drive, Super Graphics, Super Famicom, Super NES, and TurboGrafx 16.
And what it doesn't play
is NES. Because it's a different cartridge. That's all. It's just one of those issues. But the cool thing about it is that the actual system can fit in your pocket.
Yeah, that's cool.
And when you put a cartridge in, if you have an SD card in the back, it'll rip the cartridge to the system.
The ROM. So
you can just take the little pocket system with you and then hook it up anywhere you want. And it's HDMI, 1080p, all that cool stuff. So I may be coming back from Japan with one of those.
Yeah, why not? Convenient.
But just wanted to bring that up again.
Okay.
For those who do not know, SNK. Remember SNK?
Yeah, man, they were good stuff. Great games.
Yeah, they did games like Crystallis, Akari Warriors, Guerrilla War,
Metal Slug,
right? Alpha Mission, Athena.
78.
SNK is coming out with a 40th anniversary collection.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
So it's going to be updated graphics to 1080p. There's going to be a special SNK museum mode featuring the history of SNK with high definition artwork and original promotional assets.
Really?
So that's something I haven't really seen on any of the classic compilations. Like the fact they're actually going to show you a history of the company. because they're celebrating their 40th anniversary, is kind of cool. So
I'm
they
shocked
did announce
it's 40. I didn't think they were that old.
Well, I mean, the company may be 40 years old. I don't know what their very first. It'd be interesting to find out what SNK's.
That's true. Nintendo started out doing trading cards, so.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, who knows what their first game ever was? I mean, and I think they're in Japan, right?
Yeah, no, they're totally
Yeah,
Neo
they're-
Geo and everything. Absolutely. You had to be a millionaire though to buy the game cartridges.
Well, their first game came out in 1979.
Wow. Okay.
Called Ozma Wars, Ozma.
That's very interesting. I honestly thought they started in the 90s. All right, cool.
Oh, Larry, and you'd be happy to know that their very first game was a vertical shooter.
Ooh, I think a lot of them were back then.
Yeah, so maybe something. It came out in December of 1979. So 2019 is their 40th anniversary.
Right before I came out.
Yep. So there'll be. Sorry.
When I was born.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yes, you were, and we're all thankful for that. But the SNK is coming out with their 40th anniversary collection on the Nintendo Switch.
Ooh, yes.
So that will be on the Nintendo Switch. They have not listed. They have not listed all the games out that will be on it. So we have to keep a lookout on that. But it's definitely one I'll be buying specifically just for like Akari Warriors, Metal Slug. I even remember playing Athena on the NES.
I don't remember that one.
It was an interesting little game.
Okay.
So
Cool.
yes, there was that. Here's a bit of random retro news that I find very entertaining. But a retro game collector,
Okay.
retro game collector Julian Turner, recently uploaded a video to YouTube because he bought a couple of retro NES cartridges.
Okay.
Roller games and golf. Do you remember those games?
Oh, yeah. Roller games. Oh, like the rock and roller games? Like
Yeah, I think it was-
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he bought these two games because when he picked them up, they felt heavier than a normal NES game.
Weird.
Which is strange. Right,
Yeah.
which is weird because, when you pick up an NES game,
Yeah,
it's just got...
it's like a bag of potato chips. Like the cart's
they're
so
super
big,
light.
and then only that much of a ROM chip.
Right, they're super light.
Yeah.
So he went. So he picked up these games specifically because they were heavier than a regular NES game.
Mm-hmm.
And he decided to open up the cartridge because you can just unscrew the back and
It's like a special screwdriver, but yeah.
Yeah. Decides to open up the cartridges, right?
Okay.
So what did he find in these NES cartridges? Well, apparently somebody was smuggling drugs.
Ooh.
Inside the cartridges.
Wow. A little bit of that Colombian gold there.
Yep.
Oh, look at that. Holy cow.
Yeah. And then the funny thing that this article also mentions is that this isn't the first time something has been found in an NES cartridge, because at one point somebody opened up an NES cartridge and found $5,000 in bills
Look at
tucked
that.
into it, with the money dating back to 1985.
Ooh.
So it's quite possible that people were using NES cartridges for drug transactions.
That is hysterical.
So basically, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna buy some cocaine, and I get a copy of roller games.
Which may go one in the same. I think they go hand in hand.
I don't know, but
$5,000.
$5,000. You know what? $5,000 is way too much to pay for a copy of roller games. I'm just saying.
But you get a lot of that. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Looks like that's amazing. And
Yeah.
smart. I got to admit, I didn't know what the inside of an NES cartridge looked like till I was about 25.
Yeah. Well, that's what it looks like. And apparently, if you should happen to have a cartridge that feels a little heavy, open it up.
I'm gonna open all of them up. It's gonna be a mess
Yeah,
in here.
just start weighing them. Jumping back to SNK, that they're now coming out with this 40th anniversary compilation for the Switch. That's not the only thing that they're doing.
Oh.
SNK is also releasing a Neo Geo Classic system.
Oh, this I may have seen if it's what I think it is.
Yeah. So they haven't said exactly what it is. And they also said like a lot of their games are already available on the Switch.
Yeah.
Um, there will be an actual system. Now I don't know if it's going to be a huge machine or not, or if it's going to be like a console you hook up to your TV, because their ad is a little deceiving because it shows like a Neo Geo. It looks like the old tabletop arcade, like underneath a black sheet that says Neo Geo. So I don't know if it's like a I mean, I can't imagine that they would come out with something like that because people aren't going to pay a lot of money for it. I'm going to assume it's just like a nice classic console. But so there will be a Neo Geo Classic Edition coming that may actually be affordable this time around.
Oh, okay. Hopefully, right?
And we won't have to pay $1,000.
Oh, jeez.
For the damn thing.
Cool.
Yeah, which is cool. All right. So moving on. So have you heard of this new thing that Sega's doing on the Switch called Sega's Ages?
Yes.
Yep. So Sega's Ages are basically retro Sega games that they're releasing on the Switch Virtual Console. And they had announced originally 3 titles, which were going to be Sonic the Hedgehog, Thunder Force 4, and Phantasy Star as the first releases under the Sega Ages banner. They have now announced 2 more games that are going to be released on that, and it's called Gain Ground and Alex Kidd in Miracle World.
Ooh, all right. Good game.
Yeah. So you will have an opportunity to play both of those games on the Nintendo Switch in the Sega Ages line. They've also announced that they will be releasing Saturn and Dreamcast games on Sega Ages as well. So,
I heard about the Dreamcast recently, yeah.
Yeah, but also Sega Saturn. So you're going to be able to download Sega Saturn games on your Switch. So you may not need to buy a Sega Saturn after all.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's fine. I'll take Virtual Console, but the Switch is really getting some love. I'm liking it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely getting some support. It's getting a lot of retro support too, which is
that's what
cool.
I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe you had a quick piece of Switches as well.
Yeah, which I was shocked about. Limited Run Games, who, in the opinion of this podcaster, Larry Mormon, in my opinion only, terrible people, but be that as it may, because they're the ones that screwed me royally the last time I tried buying a game from them. Again,
and you're still bitter.
My opinion. But anyway, they announced, that's what I saw, because I don't know why their feed keeps coming up, Night Trap, which had celebrated its 25th anniversary recently, was released on the PS4 with a digital and physical copy release, will be getting a Switch release, both digital and physical. I want to say July, but I don't hold me to that date. But still Night Trap on the Switch. Just the fact that you see Night Trap on a Nintendo system, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, because it's definitely not a Nintendo kind of game.
No, not at all. But it's a fun game, and actually I kind of feel like it kind of would lead to portability. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because that's what I want when I'm sitting on a flight, watching somebody playing Dana Plato.
Dana Plato can't even play Dana Plato.
That's a bad joke because she's dead.
I meant her acting ability in the game.
So, no, I think you meant about her being dead.
And also the there's another game which we can talk about next time that's coming out on the Switch. It's a new game, but it has full motion video. So I think we're going to start to slowly see the return of full motion video gaming.
That's fine with me as long as it's not like the full motion video games of the past where it's just like you have to press an arrow button at the right time and things like that, because it's probably going to wind up being stuff like that.
It may be because it's actual actors. I think it's called Night Shift or The Night Shift. So,
all right. Well, we'll see how it goes. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie. If done right, it can be a really good game because Until Dawn on the PlayStation 4, which I just finished not too long ago, was that kind of game, and it was basically like playing through a horror movie, and your goal was that you had to, in the scenarios, you had to make sure that each character survived by making different choices and pressing buttons at the right time, and it was actually really fun. So if they were able to get away with it there, you know what, I actually do think they can do it. So I will retract my previous comment or concern, because Until Dawn was a lot of fun. Moving on in news. It was announced, I believe, last week that Sega has announced that they are coming out with a Sega Genesis Mini, or also known as the Mega Drive Mini, because it will be coming out in Japan first.
Here we go again.
Right. So now, but this is the first time Sega has officially really come out and presented this. So there was a lot of, when the announcement came out, there was a lot of like, oh, this is great. We're finally getting the Sega Genesis Mini that everybody's wanted, because we all know the Sega Genesis flashback that came out from At Games several times, mind you, has been awful.
Terrible. And and there's always been this rumor about Sega getting back in the hardware business.
Right. And Sega, to our understanding, Sega's not getting back in the hardware business in terms of a newer system, but they did announce that they're coming out with this Sega Genesis Mini. And because Sega announced it, everybody got excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
But then, a few days later, a tweet pops up from At Games, basically announcing that they're creating the Mega Drive Mini.
They're becoming the LJN of these mini systems.
Basically, because the minute that At Games came out and announced it, they very quickly removed the tweet because
really,
they removed the tweet because apparently they weren't supposed to come out and say they were doing it. And I'm assuming the reason why they're doing it is because they must be locked into some type of agreement with Sega.
Yeah.
So if Sega wants to do one, they have to do it. But now they did announce that the Mega Drive Mini is powered by the latest At Games technology. So Sega. So
by a little cockroach inside on a wheel.
Yes, basically. But so they're basically saying that it's not going to be the same as the Sega Genesis flashback. Unfortunately, time will tell.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with that, because I think if this one flops, then I think Sega is just doomed at this point. Or they should wait until that contract runs out and just release something else.
They're putting out the game. That Genesis collection, that's fine. That's perfect. You don't need a mini console.
Yep. And last but not least, last bit of retro news I want to share. Okay. And it's one of those random ones. Okay. So this guy who owns a Super Nintendo was using it, and it crapped out on him. Like, it just, it just went bad. Now, if you remember, on the back of your Super Nintendo, there was a little sticker for service. If you had an issue with your system, there was a 1-800 number on the back of your Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah, the repair,
right, for repair. So it's just, if anything went wrong, the number's right there. You call them up and you go to repair.
Mm-hmm.
And the number was 1-800-255-3700.
Okay.
So the guy, his Super Nintendo wasn't working, and he's like, you know what? He's like, this was about a month ago. He's like, what the hell? I'm going to call the support number. Never know what's going to happen. He gets somebody on the line. The support number is still working. Gets a woman on the line, and she spoke to him through. She said he couldn't send it in for repairs. They don't have parts for Super Nintendos anymore. Yeah. But she actually talked him through different solutions and actually got him to fix the Super Nintendo. So if you want to talk about going above and beyond service, Nintendo still has their support line for their Super Nintendo and original Nintendo. I think it was the same number over 30 years later.
That's insane.
Yeah, which is crazy.
That's awesome.
And that's all the retro news I have for this week. Or this month at this point.
I wonder if she asked him to use a toothbrush on the Super Nintendo.
All right, Larry, it is time for this week's Did You Know?
Ooh, all right, I like this.
Yeah, I know, I like Did You Know. So we all know about the downfall that is Billy Mitchell.
I'm so happy.
Right? We're all very happy. Although I will say that he did announce online that he will be setting the record straight and will be fixing the issue. So I don't know what he's planning on doing. He's probably going to take somebody at Twin Galaxies hostage. I don't know. But anyway, however, I want to talk about somebody else who used to have high scores in a specific Game Boy game.
Huh.
So Did you know that in 1990 and 1991, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak submitted several high scores to Nintendo Power magazine for the Game Boy version of Tetris?
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
He was featured 3 times, once via a letter which included photos that was printed in the reader mail section of Nintendo Power.
Wow.
Where he had the high score at one point of 507,110. And then later on, he got a higher score, 546,145.
Wow.
And his name in Nintendo Power was actually spelled backwards. So his name was Yvette Kalzov. So basically Steve Wozniak backwards.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah. So now, as of today, Wozniak is still ranked 8th in the world.
Really?
For Tetris on Game Boy.
Interesting.
The current record holder is Alex Holbrook, who's has a number of records. Mm-hmm. In 2017, he hit 752,668, backed up with video evidence. Mm-hmm. But it's just an interesting thing to know that Steve Wozniak is in the top 10 for the original Tetris game on the Game Boy in terms of high scores,
That's
and
awesome.
that he was featured in Nintendo Power for it.
Yeah.
And that is this week's Did You Know?
Honey, are you playing with your food again?
All right. Whew, another good episode. It was a fun one, too. I like all the news and everything. Good
yeah,
stuff.
I like it when it's funny because as time goes on, retro game news just keeps growing and growing because there's just so much of it happening now.
I'm telling you, 2018, baby. 2018, the year of retro games.
The year I get my Virtual Boy and I get to destroy it.
Oh, boo. Technically, that happens in 2019, but that'd be
there. I just think I'm just doing a service to humanity. One less Virtual Boy in existence. Hashtag VB sucks.
Let's get ready to bring this one in. Get ready to get to the kill screen here.
Yeah, we're definitely at the kill screen. I do want to mention this before we go off.
Yeah,
and
sure.
It is not video game related.
All right.
Although I can make it video game related, but it is nerd related. But just a very, very, very special milestone was reached last week in the world of comic books, and Action Comics released their 1,000th issue, which is a first for a comic book.
Yeah.
And they released it with 44 different covers featuring Action Comics Superman. Superman was first appeared in Action Comics, and now we are 1,000 issues later.
Wow.
And we are still celebrating the greatness that is Clark Kent.
Yeah, no, and they also, I guess that also coincided with the 80th anniversary of Superman, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was 80 years ago. It was 1939 when Superman, if I remember correctly, if I'm doing math right, that Superman showed up.
38?
What?
1938?
Well, no, I mean 40 would be no. 40 would be well. Let me look. I'm going to look it up really quickly.
All right.
Because I always get Superman and see, I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong because I always get Superman and Batman confused. Batman, I think, was 1939.
Oh, okay.
Superman actually showed up in. Let's see. The character was originally created in 1933.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We're talking about 80 years.
He did. Yes, he debuted in Action Comics #1, June 1938. So
yes, okay, gotcha.
1938. So yeah, he's officially 80 years old in Action Comics. So,
gotcha.
A happy 80th anniversary. You do not look a day over 20. And to Clark Kent, Superman.
That yellow sun is doing him good.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. I want his secret.
You posted, they also put out like 10 variant covers for the 80th anniversary of Superman as well. And I saw you post. Was that a repost or did you buy those?
No. I bought those 10.
That's cool. That's cool.
And they're not all variant. Like I know you call them variant. There were 10. Like I guess you can almost call them standard issue covers, and that's what I purchased.
Okay.
There are 44 covers in total.
Oh.
So there are like 34 other like variant ones that you can buy. So they definitely they went all out for this one. And the covers are gorgeous, and they got different artists for each cover, obviously. But
except for the one, I know it's all white because it's designed to give it to an artist to draw on it.
Yes. I did buy that one because next convention I hit up, I'm gonna.
Why not?
Maybe I'll commission an artist to draw me on this cover.
Huge milestone. Superman's awesome. Truth, Justice, the American Way. Of course, he can't get a good video game to save his life, but at least and
I was gonna talk about Superman video games on this podcast to commemorate the 80th anniversary, and then I realized I'm like, there's really not a lot to talk about.
Honestly,
although I will say that the Death and Return of Superman on Super Nintendo and Genesis is probably the best one.
Fantastic.
Great game. It was a beat 'em up style, kind of similar to Spider-Man: Maximum Carnage, Batman and Robin the Animated Series. So they did really well by that one. I also found it interesting that while I was researching Superman video games, that they were originally going to release a Superman 3 video game on the Atari based off the movie.
Oh wow!
With Richard Pryor. That movie was so bad.
It was bad, and then there's interesting.
No, it was bad. It was just bad.
Movie scared me.
So just great thing, great milestone. Even if you don't collect comics, I would say pick up one copy of Action Comics 1000 just to give it a read.
Absolutely. I will say real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. The scene when Superman's fighting Clark Kent in Superman 3, and he throws him into the car compactor.
Yep.
I mean, terrified me. Absolutely terrified.
Well, yeah, you were like, what, 5?
Still, I was like, how is he living through that compactor? And then he's just sitting there with the peanuts. Think.
Well, you know what? I mean, he survived. That's all that mattered. He survived to do Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Well, see, something's better left. Nuclear.
Richard Pryor should have just killed him in Superman 3.
Oh, at least John Cryer was in it. All right, so we're going to wrap this all up. Ant, you got to get ready for a flight, so...
Yes, I have a car picking me up shortly.
Oh, fancy dancy, excuse me.
I don't play around.
And that is not on network money, people, I'm going to tell you right now.
No, definitely not.
So check out, follow us.
Network money would get me a rickshaw outside that I would have to pull.
I got news for you. You're exactly right. I'm going to owe money at the end of the fiscal year. Check us out everywhere. We just actually, in a few weeks, hopefully, we're going to be on Spotify, which would be really cool and a lot more convenient for a lot of people. But, Ant, you want to hit them up where we can be found?
We can be found at our website, www.theretrogamers.com. You can find us on Instagram at @the_retrogamers. You can catch all of our action on Facebook at facebook.com/retrogamerspodcast. And if you want to listen to our podcast, you are listening to it right now. So yay, you grabbed one of our podcasts
really
off the site.
Yeah, you already know where you find us. So.
You already know where to find us, which is nice. But if you want to track us down elsewhere, just for the hell of it, we are available on iTunes. We're available on Spreaker. You can find us on Amazon Alexa, TuneIn, iHeartRadio,
YouTube. Just search.
Just search. You'll find our ugly 8-bit selves.
If you don't find us, just search somewhere else. And,
if you don't find us, then you're not looking for us, which means you're not listening to us right now. So all of this is just moot.
Someone called me out on that the other day.
Yes, they should.
And, of course, if you want to wear merchandise, I'm rocking it right now. If you want to check out the Retro Gamers merchandise and #VBSuch merchandise, go to teechip.com, teechip.com. Search the Retro Gamers. You'll find both. And I'll give you a little hint right now. A, ignore the countdown. And B, if you want to buy more than one item, put the one item in your cart, hit back, and then search for another thing. I like Teechip.
Yeah, I know. It's a very weird site.
We like Teechip.
We may judge you if you buy more than one item, but buy one.
Yes, please buy something. And with that wrap up, Ant, safe flight. Enjoy Japan.
Thank you, sir.
Let me know. I'm sure I'll get text from you when you hit Super Potato.
Oh yeah, no, you'll be getting images and you'll be buying stuff.
I'm doing my best not to this time around.
Oh no, trust me. I have a knack for finding things that you want.
You do. It sucks. And with that, folks, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week right here on the Retro Gamers.